Hello, this is Lisette Schuitemaker with my lifelong friend Lucy McCarraher, who will actually turn the grand old age of 71 tomorrow, which also marks the ending of our year of podcasting on the year of being 70. Lucy is in the UK in Norfolk. I'm in Amsterdam. This is our 49th and final episode. Lucy, tomorrow, 71. How are you prepping for that? Are you
It's
celebrating?
going to be a very quiet birthday this year. I'm not. Last year was big.
I
and
was
I
there.
yes, I actually had a party, even though I didn't particularly want one, but I felt pressure from my mother and a few other people to actually have a big celebration. So I did, and it it cost me a huge amount of stress up to the minute it started. And then as soon as the party started, I absolutely loved it. And I'm so glad I had that party. It was wonderful. I loved it. I loved all the people who spoke and said nice things about me. I loved all the different parts of my life, family, friends,
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
friends all coming together. I loved it. So what about you? I mean, you've been 71 for a month longer than me, but how,
Yeah.
looking back on your 70th birthday, how do
Well,
you?
my 70th birthday was glorious and wonderful. I had a party too. Yeah, I had a humongous cake. It was around the corner in kind of a derelict. It used to be a car repair shop, and it's now kind of a edgy, you know, cool party place. And no, as you say, it is wonderful to see various streams of our lives. Then people are in one room, they don't necessarily know each other. But I know exactly why everyone is there, and hopefully everybody knows why they are there. And
Yes, yes, I
that
think
was
it's
lovely.
pretty
But I
clear.
also, 71 was like, what kind of an age is that? So I had a very small evening with people for dinner, and that is that.
Yeah,
And
well,
haven't we had a wonderful year?
we have had a wonderful year. I don't think I expected it to be so impactful in a way. For me, having turned 70 has really been like turning a corner. And I can't quite put my finger on why. It's as if, I mean, I felt so sort of free this year, free of constraints I didn't even know were there, really. And it's partly to do with having had this podcast, having had these discussions every week, and having been incredibly open about our lives and ourselves. And I'm up to that point, that was not my kind of modus operandi. I was, very, kind of professional when I was professional and didn't talk about what they kind of call your hinterland. So, personal stuff was not something I shared with many people. And now I feel, well, I seem to have
It's
shared my
all over the
entire
place.
life with the world if anybody wanted to watch it or listen to it.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Nothing
Yeah, and
terrible's
actually,
happened.
yeah, what you've done for me, I mean, I'm very much about making what is unconscious conscious, right? Because once we are aware of something, we can also change it and we can start to see it and see there's a pattern or a certain behavior, and then we can make a choice. So that's very much where a lot of my work is in
Indeed.
in the personal development area. And so for me, what you've done is throughout our 71st year, the year being 70, making me conscious of yeah, of where I am and where we are in our lives. What a privilege it is to be this age and to still be active and healthy enough and up there also clear enough to still be able to play in the big game.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I have really enjoyed looking back. I know this is not your thing so much, but I've actually loved looking back
Yeah.
over our lives and our decades and half decades that we've kind of unpicked and looked at. And also, I've loved the episodes where we've talked about things like tech, how tech has changed from when we were children to now, and communication and things like
Yeah.
that. I think those have been really, they've kind of provided a mental framework for me, being able to look at things in the context of our entire lives, which of course, we were both aware of before, but having put it together, having kind of externalized it in our conversations means it's much more kind of present, and it's almost like writing a book. The
Yeah. Yeah.
conversations we've had have been, we've
Yeah.
put things into a
It's
shape
writing
and
our
a form.
memoir online.
Yes, yes, exactly,
No, and I'm
exactly.
not so much for looking back and kind of reminiscing and wasn't that wonderful, but I do realize that as an elder, I come with experience and I come from a different time and I can sometimes, bring some context to where things came from or how they were before or without glorifying that past. I think that's a very dangerous thing to do.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, and I
Yeah.
think I think I think talking to each other about this and the way we've kind of lived our lives differently, but bring a lot of the same sorts of experience and expertise to where we are now has been very helpful. I mean, I think exactly without glorifying it, I think it's helped me kind of see a kind of coherence in my life and indeed a kind of accumulated value that I hope to now be able to use, contribute, put into practice, and not, not that feeling of, I mean, I think I did worry about, reaching 70 would be a kind of fading away time, that it might be the time that people thought, oh, that's it. She's done her stuff,
I
no
actually
more to
spoke
offer.
quite sternly to a friend yesterday who is our age, well, the age you'll be tomorrow, and who said, well, I'm now in my 70s, so who would listen to me? And I said, come off it. It's not true. Really,
No,
this whole eldership thing, if you start to conduct yourself and not follow, I don't I mean I do follow the news, but globally, but just be plugged in this time. And if you kind of become a grumpy old man, then of course they won't want to listen to you. But you have so much to offer that I just don't buy it that because you're over 70, you're kind of, irrelevant.
no, no. And I think I've learned that if you come into a conversation or an arena with that sort of attitude that, oh, I'm a bit over the hill, don't listen to
Yeah.
me, or, then of course people won't. No, fine.
We are like tuning forks, right? Is
Yeah.
the energy you give off is also what energizes then other people and evokes interesting conversations. Yeah, I was at the opening of a thing called Impact Hub. Impact Hub Amsterdam is now in its fourth location. I'm an early investor in when it was a co-working place. And I remember my father saying, Lisette, really, do you really think people will take their computers and go to a common space? And it's like, well, why not? And now, of course, it does not
It's
have that
just
role
no,
anymore because
no.
people work everywhere.
It's just
And
normal.
but they've moved to, you also see how things change in the city. There was the Navy had a big, yeah, in the heart of Amsterdam, near the Haber, they had a big piece of land with buildings and training grounds, and I have no idea what they did. And so they've rented a big hall, and it was a big event, and it was all about the circular economy and people ask, oh, so I saw also, people from the early days and how are you doing? And I think I'm in my glory years.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a lovely phrase. I'm going to kind of keep that in my head, maybe even use it. Your glory years. That's wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And there is a kind of freedom. I mean, you've talked about no longer being in process and the kind of administrative side of businesses or
Not
organizations that
operational.
not operate.
Only
That's the
for the
word.
eldest daughter retreat, I'm a bit
Yeah,
operational.
yes, yes.
Otherwise, I'm not so operational anymore.
Yes, some things that you kind of own, you need to be
Yeah.
operational for. I mean,
Yeah.
I sort of feel the same about my mastermind groups, which is actually not dissimilar to your
Eldest
eldest
daughters.
daughter retreats.
Yeah.
But
But otherwise,
yes, but there is that kind of, I think that's a freeing as well. I mean, various things are happening in my business world, which I think are going to mean that I am also kind of released from a certain amount of operational involvement and be able to go and do what I really love doing, which is speaking and mentoring and inspiring people. And I think that's what, that's probably what we're best at now.
yeah.
And there is a, there's a sort of a freedom and a flying kind of nature in that. And as we've said before, if not now, when? Who knows? Who knows how long? I mean, I think we have to operate with the assumption that we still have, who knows, 20 years ahead of us. And if we don't, we don't. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's, if
No,
it's if
that's a good.
but let's assume that it's all going to be, and there are kind of health and medicine is all progressing, who knows. And I also do think that as baby boomers we have been I mean, people dislike us for many reasons, but because we're such a big generation, we have always been the generation pushing through change because there are so many of us, and we're out there going, no, we don't like it this way. We're going to make the changes, we're going to make the discoveries, we're going to do the research. And I think we're still doing that. I mean, we're perhaps beginning, no, yeah, well, we are beginning to die off, of course, but there's still, we're still a massive
Yeah.
generation, and I think we'll go on making
I think
the
it's
glory
we have
years.
elections. We have
Yes.
elections next week, and of course the yeah, the cost of healthcare, because we are now all aging, is one of the big topics
Yeah.
of how can that still be affordable for everybody. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I
I've just
mean, we,
registered to help with the elections and to be a counter when the voting booth closes at 9, the counters come. I
that's
think
fantastic.
I've always thought that's something I need to do when I have more time. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily have more time, but I feel very citizen-like to be part of that process. I have no idea whether
I think that's very impressive.
we'll be kind of ready at midnight or whether we'll be counting until 4 in the morning.
No, well, I imagine you must have a in Amsterdam, your whatever your constituency is must be pretty huge. So
Yeah, well, there's lots of voting places.
yeah,
And,
and you're
yeah,
just
I'm in a
in one
public
specific.
library,
Right, right.
and I come in at 8, and then at 9, the person I've just learned, because I have to take an online course, that the person who is in line at 9, they can still vote. But if they were not in line to vote at 9 p.m.,
Oh, 9 p.m. Right, right.
closed, and then we
Oh,
start counting. I really look forward to
gosh.
doing that.
Oh, I think it'll be really fun and really interesting. I mean, very operational as it happens,
Very
but
operational, but they needed counters and
yeah,
they needed lead people in the lead of counting. And
yes.
what do you think I have registered for?
What, what?
What? Of course, I'm an eldest daughter. Why would I not be
Yeah. Oh,
registering
yeah.
for
No, of
being in the
course.
lead?
Of
Like
course. You're a good girl. You're doing your civic duty
my
completely.
civic duty. No, but also I had to laugh. I never done it before, and of course I'll go for the lead position. We'll see. We'll see.
Yes. No, no, you definitely should get the
Yes.
lead position. That's fantastic. You'll
Yeah.
organize everybody and make sure everybody's doing the right thing,
I think
doing
it's
what
all
suits
very
them.
prescribed, and there's lots of protocol, and because we have so many parties,
Yeah.
there's this form, this paper you get, and for us it's like humongous because we have like 25
Oh,
or
wow.
28 parties to choose from.
Right. Gosh.
So
Yes.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
huge. So yes, a lot of votes. How interesting. Well, I was going to say, but of course we won't be doing this. It'll be fascinating next week to hear what you're doing. But no,
No, this
we
will be
won't
a
be.
mystery forever.
It will be. It will be. Well, we have said that we will catch up on a regular basis and have these conversations, and possibly if we think we've talked about something interesting, we may
Oh, there
post
you
them as
go.
episodes.
There
See,
you go. You stretch me again. No, we've done the year being 70. Of
well,
course, I mean, Lucy and I are friends, so we will keep in touch. And we might record and then see if it's publishable.
yes, yes, we
Yes.
could do that. But you know me, I hate endings, so I'm going to leave that
Yes.
little door open just in case there's a possibility. So that will kind of satisfy me
Yeah.
emotionally that it's not, a closed door forever.
Yeah. So how have you been with this ending? I mean,
Well,
how?
I'm not getting much better at it.
No?
I don't. Well, at least I suppose, like you say, I have surfaced it now. I know that I have an issue with endings, which I probably wasn't that aware of before, and I can sort of apply it and try and do better, I suppose. I mean, it's ridiculous. It informs all sorts of things that I do when I'm recording a video for,
Yeah.
sort of talking about book magic or something like that. I start brilliantly, I start strong, I've got all the content. And when it gets to the end, I cannot find the words to just go, that's the end.
Yeah.
And now, and
I
have
I
what
think you're not an exception. I think
maybe
many
not.
people have this, how to end it. And but it is interesting that once you're aware of it, once we're aware of things, we can start to make choices and we
Yeah,
can register and watch ourselves do it and kind of even have this little voice, oh, you're doing it again, you're doing it again. And my experience is that from the moment I'm aware of something and I register it, then I can reduce the time between registering it and making an informed choice to do it differently.
that's very
I
good.
think
That's
that's
very
the whole
good. So
thing.
yes, you give yourself a window by being aware of it, a window of action, of
Yeah.
potential action. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is
And that
there
window
anything?
becomes closer.
Yeah.
Sometime I've just changed a habit and go like,
Yes. And then it becomes habit, as you say. Then you just,
yeah,
you stop having that problem, as it were.
yeah.
But is there anything that you've become aware of this year, possibly through our conversations, or possibly just be through being 70, that you realize you have I
Well,
mean,
I realized that I'm not a looker backer.
no, that's true.
I'm not so fond of looking back. So that was a realization, also a difference between us. Also, you have much better recollection of things than I have. So for me, it's also kind of looking back. And I'm also quite aware of, how we make stories out of selected memories and then forge them into, something that we fix, whereas it
Yes.
wasn't fixed. It was probably different and we remember there were other people there and also our memory is very selective. So but I have enjoyed all that, really I have. And also I really loved when we spoke about being 60 to 65 and 65 to 70 because I had not realized, I mean, I knew I was active then and you were, but I did not know how we've actually come into our power and come into our own in a way.
No,
Yeah.
no, exactly. Sometimes it's really good to look back and actually add up
Yeah.
the numbers and see what actually has been
Yeah.
produced and what's been done. And then, it's sort of it's very satisfying really to
Yeah.
realize that, quite a lot of achievements have been made.
Yeah, and you've also given me the opportunity to talk about some of my beliefs and inner convictions and yeah, ideas about life before birth and life after death, which I've just read the Dan Brown, The Secret of Secrets.
Oh, how was that? Yes.
Well, it's all about this.
Is it? Is it really?
It's all about this. It's all
Ah,
about consciousness is not something that your brain kind of fabricates, but we are more like radios that can attune to different stations. And so the station we're attuned to is kind of what comes through. And so you can, yeah, so and very much about, life after death
and before,
and before
life
and
before birth.
life before birth, exactly.
Yes, no, I have found that fascinating listening to your views on that because I see you as somebody who is very well thought out. You know, you are intellectually, you have your knowledge, your ideas, you have your frameworks, you know where you stand on things, and you are, sort of intellectually rigorous, I would say. And yet
I
you
don't think
have
anybody has ever said that about me. So thank you. I must take
not
that
at
on.
all.
I'm glad you noticed. Intellectually rigorous. Wow.
I think so. When I kind of come up against, when we discuss something and I'm a bit woolly about things and you go, no, this is my view. This is what I think. And I feel, oh, okay.
Maybe I've just set in my ways, but yeah,
No,
no, but I
no,
think I have studied this for the past, like, 30,
yes.
even
Yes,
40
but what I
years.
was going to
Yeah.
say is, I think of you as
Yes.
intellectually rigorous, but you have this very open, what some people would call kind of woo-woo kind of attitude to life before death,
Yeah.
spirituality, sort of telepathy, if you like, being able to get into other people's heads. And I find that I mean, I love that. I've been fascinated by it and I feel much more open to it because you are, you're somebody I respect. Therefore, I think, your views, you've kind of opened up my views over the years, and especially
Yeah.
things like reincarnation. And I like what you said on one of our episodes about, well, you can choose to believe it or you can choose not to believe it, but actually, isn't it lovely to believe it? And
It's the
so why
better
would you choose?
story.
Yes, why would you choose a less pleasant view of
Yeah.
life? So, make it something. If you're happy with that, if
Yeah.
that makes you feel good, then believe it. And yeah, why not?
So in this book, The Secret of Secrets, there's Robert Langdon, who is the Harvard professor and who's a bit of a skeptic on many things that he actually does believe, but he's still kind of, I would say, in the less expanded worldview, let me call it like that. And then there's Dr. Catherine Solomon, who has written a book about all of this, and she's connected to the Institute of Noetic Sciences, which has been around for years and years and years.
And is that a real thing?
That is a real thing.
I don't even
That's
know
an
what that
absolutely
means.
real thing. I get their newsletters. I
Oh,
participate in their calls sometimes
wow.
where they research these things. And she, in the book, is as absolutely intellectually and scientifically rigorous, and just shows him how yes, when Galileo Galilei first said the universe does not revolve around the Earth, but the Earth revolves around the sun, and maybe there are more planets. He was vilified. It was, I
Yeah.
mean, how could he say that? And so, yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, there's
that's
another
great.
topic. I'd be interested to hear what you think after you've read that book. But
Yes, I will. I will definitely read it now. I mean, I think I've read the first and maybe the second Dan Brown, and I love them as kind of. I mean, I think they're fairly badly written, but but
yeah,
they're they're a really good racing story,
yeah,
and you just want to kind of keep reading, which is perhaps
which
the most
is lovely when
important
you have a
thing.
book like that.
But if you've got that kind of dialectic going on within that, that's even better. I must get a
Yeah,
copy of it immediately and listen to it. I'll get the audio book and
yeah, you
listen
get
to
the
it.
audio. There's another book I've just read, which is right here,
Oh, 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 right.
The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak. And I can't remember the 40 Rules of Love. It's about
That's a lot of rules of
There's
law.
a lot of rules, but there is one framework in there that I find so, I love, frameworks. They're kind of like maps. Some of my
Yes,
books
yes.
are about that too. But it says there's 7 phases, 7 stages of development in humans. So the first is it's all somebody else's fault. If they weren't there, then we'd be good, which is, I think, the party, one of our political parties, very much like that. But
Yeah,
many people are like that. It's all their fault. If they
yeah,
hadn't said that, then I wouldn't have. And so the second phase is when you start to look at yourself. They're like, oh, something, if I'm annoyed, something is triggered in me. It's not necessarily the other person is annoying. Something is
yeah.
triggered in me. So what is that? And you start to, which is very much also what we've been doing in this podcast, right? And then the third is that you accept things as they are. It is like that. And then the fourth phase is that you're actually accepted with joy and gratitude. Wow, it is like this. How amazing. And the fifth is you go a step further and you embrace how things are. You
Oh,
embrace it with kind of love and compassion. And then the sixth phase is that you become like a lantern. You kind of shine out unconditional love. And then the seventh phase, and I really love this, the book says has never been attained by any human being yet. So we don't know really what the
oh,
seventh
wow.
phase is.
Wow. Well, that is, yeah, that is an interesting framework. Yes, yes. Well, I'll have to get that book as well. Perhaps we should start a
Yes,
little, perhaps,
we
perhaps
should
we should
start a little
start a
book
little
club.
book club. Yes.
Yeah, there's Oprah's book club, there's Reese's book club. We can also have a book club.
Yes, why not? Lucy and Lisette's book club. Well, it could be our monthly talk. See, I'm now kind of pushing the kind of, things out further. What have you read this month? We could
Well,
have,
maybe it's also good to ask our audience, would
yeah,
you like us to continue on a monthly basis? And if so, is this book club idea, is that a good idea? Would you be interested what we are reading and how we are speaking about it?
yes,
So, yeah, that's a good question to ask. We'll see what comes.
yes. Answers on a postcard or not?
So there's also another
Answers in the
little
box.
election there.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. No, that's a very good thought because we haven't, I mean, we've discussed books and we've mainly discussed the books that we've written rather than other people's books.
Yeah,
But
we had an episode. I love that one. Is three books that really influenced us.
yes, yes, we did.
Yes,
We
and
did
you
do an
had all
episode.
these authors who you would love to meet.
Yes, that was another episode. Who would you have to
Yeah,
dinner?
would
Yes,
have for dinner. Yeah,
yes, yes. Gosh, we've covered a lot. 49 episodes, 49 lengths of 40 odd minutes is quite a lot of talking, isn't it?
it is.
But
It is.
it's been great for me, and I I really hope that other people who have listened. I mean, we've had some very nice comments and feedback, and some of it online, a lot of it offline. People just saying, "I love this," and I'm listening to you,
Yeah.
and that's been very nice to know that I
It
think that
binged on us.
yeah,
Somebody the
yes.
other day said, I binged on you.
Oh, that's lovely. Yes, no, somebody
I've
said to me
never
the
been
other.
binged on before, I don't think.
Well, you don't know though. You don't know. You might.
No, no.
Somebody's actually said it. And yeah, somebody said the other day to me, well, you must have lots of super fans. And perhaps we have. I think those are
I don't
yeah.
even really know what a super fan is.
Well, somebody who absolutely loves us and
Oh,
indeed, the bingers, I
the
suppose,
binges.
the
Okay.
people who
So
think.
when you look at your 72nd year, what is ahead of you, Lucy? What are you?
Well, there are th annoyingly, there are things coming up that I can't actually go public on at the moment, but they are exciting and they are kind of
Professionally?
professionally, yes, they are a
Okay.
vindication of the work that I and particularly my business partner Joe have done over the last 14 years about the business. And that's heading in a very exciting and international direction, I think. I can't really say more than this at this moment. I wish we were having another talk in a month's time because
Yeah.
then I would be able
Then you
to
could
say
speak
it.
about it. Yes.
Yes, I think anyway. So yes, so
And will that
that's
change your
exciting.
life? Will that
Yes,
change your working life, or can't you say anything about that yet?
I think it will. That will be the thing that moves me probably from operational to kind of outreach. I think I can I think I can say that without being very specific. So that will be exciting. Um, and partly as a result of this podcast, I've got and partly as a result of the business stuff, I've got two books on the go that I'm writing. And one is the working title is The Phoenix Theory, and it's about women, and it's about reinvention in the second half of life and regular reinvention, as you know, I seem to do a lot, and you do to some
Yeah.
extent, and actually sort of turning it into a framework and a way of doing things. And I hope that that is going to be published sometime. You never know how long these things take, but
No, but fantastic. As I
yeah.
said, I love frameworks. So if you come up with
Exactly, me
another
too. I
one
mean, yes, my
where
brain
women
is a
can keep reinventing themselves and are not over the hill at any point in life, but
no,
can
exactly.
fulfill other roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yes, I think, my women's mastermind, I'm just literally starting a new cohort tonight, is our first call. And that is I'm kind of hoping to grow that, because that is such a powerful thing. And it's not just me and, well, my co-host Michaela Brown, who does it with me, but it's the groups of women themselves that have this energy and the power and what they bring to each other. And it's just fantastic to have the privilege to sort of facilitate those, if you like, and be, for some reason, the person that kind of pulls it together. So
And
I
also,
hope.
you've repeatedly said you would want to write a novel, another
Yes.
novel,
Oh
I would
God.
say. Oh
Yes.
God, a novel.
No,
Oh
I know
God.
it's terrible. I did at the beginning of sort of just after our 70th birthdays, I started a novel. I've written more than half of it. And then I got hijacked by the non-fiction books and the need to kind of the business stuff that started happening, that I felt really required other books to sort of
Yeah.
come out first. And so it will happen. No, it definitely will. And I'd like to think that I will finish this novel, which is called Chelsea Square, in this, within this year, before my 72nd birthday. I'd like to think that that will be
Okay.
there. So what about
Okay.
you,
That's
Lisette?
a
What is
pledge.
coming up for you in this year?
Yeah, what is, I think it sounds a bit strange, but like more of the same. But I'm actually in a position where I get more questions uh, for involvement than I can honor. And so it feels to me at some point I need to kind of take my inventory and take my pick, but I also know I'm never going to do that. My life kind of shapes itself as
Yeah,
I go along.
yeah.
And I'm in my final 2 years of being on the board of the impact investment co-op Pimwimic. So that was 2 more years. Then yeah, I'll see how much longer I can do my other boards and steward roles and
As long as
so
you want
yeah.
to.
But this year, yeah, it will be more of what I'm doing, kind of
Yeah.
involvement with companies and doing another eldest daughter retreat in March. And yes, there's my book, The Inner Life of Money, which also is
Yes, you've
sometimes there. But
got to get that
with my
written.
life as it is, I really, really have no time. So maybe that needs to wait, like your novel. But no, you're wanting to do your novel until the work things will gradually, I think, kind of lessen. And
Yeah, but it's a
uh,
it's a it's a it's a project that's waiting to happen, and maybe it is just waiting for its time. I really do feel that books are they're a kind of like once you conceive of them, they're kind of like an energetic thing. They exist. Even if you don't write them, they exist as an idea, as a concept and an energy. And some of them you drop because you just don't have the time, or perhaps it wasn't quite your calling to write that particular book. But I do feel that you've had the inner life of money sitting in your kind of
yeah,
energy kind of
in my
sphere
energy and
for,
awareness. I'm
yeah,
also, where do ideas come from?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
such an interesting question. And I do love this that you say, a book is kind of an entity, it has an energy. And I've once read, was it Anne Patchett, who said she had an idea for a book. And then, it didn't really materialize. And then the idea kind of traveled to another American author, and that person wrote the book.
Oh wow. Wow, that's
Isn't
very
that
interesting.
interesting? How ideas want to come to us.
Yeah. But I think there is that thing about the zeitgeist, that without our knowing it and without our I mean, people do at the same time have
Yeah,
very similar ideas, and sometimes
yeah,
people think that somebody's plagiarized them or stolen it. But
yeah.
I think they're just there, that they just kind of they're out there, and they occur to different people at the same
I
time, and
so
it's
love you saying that, that ideas are out there. We can't, see them, but they're like entities, one
yeah.
seeking an outlet and kind of going, oh, this Lucy McCarraher. Oh,
Yeah.
let's
Yes, I
drop
love that
into
idea.
her.
Yes, I like that idea. That
Yeah,
idea is kind of sitting out there waiting, and I like the idea of being picked. Yes, that's
yeah.
one for you. You could do that one.
You could do that one. Let me try you. Yeah, and so that's also the idea of the radio, and also, memories, and also, ideas and thoughts not existing in our head. You can't, when you open the brain, you can't see them.
No, no.
And maybe what we have, I say we, but what has now been built with the cloud is like how our brains actually function. We kind
Yeah,
of, plug into a cloud that has not stored like things in a cupboard, not like the cups in a cupboard, but like bits and pieces. And then when that, there's a command to retrieve that, it kind of comes together
yeah.
and is accessible for us again.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think that's what AI may get to. I mean, I don't actually think it's there yet. I think it can go out there and bring all, so much information together very quickly. But perhaps it is
But
actually
so
doing it
can
all.
we. So
Yes,
can
yes,
we.
yes, so can we. I mean, our brains are, are kind of our internal AI. But I mean, I
Yeah.
think AI is probably doing this in more scientific areas like medical stuff. I get the impression that it is bringing together, it is creating ideas
I don't
and
know if AI is
protocols.
confined to anything. I think it's
No,
now
no, it's
for all
no.
of us. So all of human life is in there. The kind of horrid black things to the beautiful
Yeah,
pinky, rosy, shiny
absolutely.
things. Everything is in there.
Yeah, no, I do agree, but what I'm saying is I'm not sure that AI has yet got to the stage where it could be Shakespeare, for example.
Yeah. But
That
very few of us can be Shakespeare either.
that's true. That's very true. But
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but this thing will develop, and
yeah,
over the next however many years we are going to be given, we will see how this will completely again reshape our world.
yeah. And I think we need to be open to it personally. I mean not
Yeah.
open to it just doing its thing and maybe taking over the world and things. I don't mean that, but open to it being a good thing and not sort of
Now,
just
you have
oh this is
already used it in your company, right? You
yes,
are
yes.
providing it as a tool for authors.
Yes, that's right. Yes. And at the moment, we're saying do not use it to write your book because your book and this particular kind of book, a book that will build your business, is all about your experience, expertise, knowledge, personal voice, all that sort of thing. And that AI cannot get to that because it's in your head and it can get everything else and it can help you with structure
It's in
and
your head, or maybe it's not in your head, it's in your whole
it's in
being, and
your,
it's in
it's
your
in,
aura,
yes.
and it's what you have uploaded to the cloud
Indeed,
and what you can
indeed, it's your
download
cloud.
from the cloud.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, but I
absolutely.
see what you mean.
But
Yeah.
it's not accessible by AI at this
No, no,
point.
no. But
Who
you
knows?
can. So
Who knows whether?
what do your authors use AI for then in this book magic program?
So they use it to tell to tell the AI. I mean, we call it your AI coach because we give it a face and a voice, and it asks you, for example, about what is your business, who is your ideal client. Let's go into real detail about your ideal client. Tell me what they do, what kind of age they are, what kind of demographic, and what the issue will be for them when they come looking for your business, your services, or in this case, your book. And the more you tell it, the more it can help you then go, right, this is how you should be positioning your book. This is what your ideal client will want to read, and this is what will make them come back to you and say, I need to come and work with you for implementation.
Hmm.
And then it's really good at structure. If you haven't got a very clear idea of how your book will, what kind of journey you're going to take your readers on. I mean, it's not always perfect by any means, but it gives you good starting points. And also, once you've told it a lot of detail about, say, your ideal client, you can then go and ask it all the way through as you're writing, this chapter. You say, what have I left out? What would you want to hear about in this?
Mm.
Are there any other sort of thoughts that you can ask it? It then becomes your ideal reader, and you
Yeah.
can ask it things to do about that. So I mean, those are the sort of kinds of things
Yeah.
that it can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've found it, when I was writing the book Magic, it was just, surprisingly helpful
So you
and
were writing the book Magic whilst using the tool that your company had developed.
exactly the tool Book Magic, the app
Yeah.
Book Magic AI.
And now do you use it for your other books? That's of course.
Yes, yes, I do. I've actually got a novel in there at the moment. It's not quite right for a novel, for the novel, but it is in there, and
Yeah.
it's a very good platform
And your
for
Phoenix
structure.
theory, do you use it for that, or is that more
For what? Sorry for.
your Phoenix
Oh,
theory?
yes, I have. Yes, that is in there too. Yes, it's a bit. Yeah, that one, funnily enough, although that is a non-fiction book, the structure of it doesn't quite fit the book magic structure at
Hmm.
the moment. But I am using it. I just have to play around with it,
Hmm.
and yeah, I
So
mean, it's
maybe
very
you have to
flexible.
also adapt the tool to
Yeah, yeah,
allow
yeah. Well,
books that have different structures.
yes, I mean, that's what
Yeah.
that's what Jonathan, our tech
Yeah.
director, he does all the time. He's just brilliant at going, oh, that's a good idea. I always feel bad when I go back to him and say, look, I found this was a bit difficult, or can we, is there any chance we could do this? And I'm expecting him to go, oh, Lucy, not another kind of complaint or whatever. And he goes, yes, that's such great feedback. Yes, let's do that. And it's lovely to work
How
with someone who's so.
interesting. That how long have you worked with him?
Well, I suppose it's getting on for 3 years now since the,
And
since
so
the,
still, when you come with something, you come there and you feel, oh, here I am, grumpy old woman. And he is like, wow, that is really useful. And so why have you not changed that behavior?
well, I still do it. I suppose it's just, I anticipate that it will be
Yeah. Well,
irritating to
I'm always
people. And
so
then,
interested because this anticipation has nothing to do with this person.
no, no,
This
it's true.
anticipation really has to do with, when you were
Yeah, it's
young,
my
you asked
internal
something of
kind of,
your younger brothers and they would go like that.
yes, yes, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, did I tell you about what happened in Berlin with the bikes? Did I tell you about that?
I can't
Not
remember. Tell me
I can't
again.
remember. Well, if you can't remember, I haven't told it.
No, no.
So, I really aim to be in the, Elif Shafak, the levels of development to be high up there. I really, really aim, and I've worked on that and done my thing. So then we were in Berlin, and we wanted to use bicycles, and the hotel had bicycles. So we were at the counter and the reception, and they said, "Oh, there's just one left." And well, I was with my husband, and so we said, "Oh, can we then, have them tomorrow?" Yes, of course you can have them tomorrow. And so the next day after breakfast, we came to the reception and said we come for our bicycles, and said, "Oh, but other guests have taken them." And I got so upset. So upset. I got so angry that, it was in my whole body.
Mm,
And I said, how can you do this? And we came here yesterday and they were promised to us. And then I kind of stormed out the door and Jos came after me. And after we'd kind of, walked a bit, I said, this has nothing to do with these people here. This, of course, is again what I call, the eldest daughter effect. Here I am,
yeah.
dutiful, responsible, eldest daughter, coming to the counter, politely asking about bicycles. Okay, not today, tomorrow.
Yeah. You've
Yes,
booked
fine,
it. It's
good.
in.
I
Yeah.
come to the counter, and then, this very fast moving little brother has, of course, already, you know, grabbed the bike
Yes.
and left.
Yes.
So I train myself, to notice when I'm a little annoyed. I mean, we all have these annoyances, but when it is so physical and
Yeah.
so
So intense.
so intense, and
Yeah.
I misbehave. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't rude or anything, but I did have, that energy. I misbehave.
Yeah.
Then I know it is not the current situation, but it is an old situation.
Yeah.
And once I'm
Yeah.
able to see that, then, that energy can
Then you
also
can drop it a bit.
go. And then
Yeah.
in my case, the hotel called and said, "Oh, there was a misunderstanding. We're very sorry about this." And I said, I need to apologize. I was way too angry. It wasn't you. It was something from my past. And we had a really lovely conversation. And they
No.
offered we rented bikes somewhere. We were still, when they called after, 20 minutes, we were still looking for a place, but we rented bikes and they paid for it. So all was well. But I do know, and I think, I suspect with this too, you feel like, oh, you're the older sister coming
Yeah.
always with something that is not to your liking or that could be better. And then your younger brothers go like, oh, they roll their eyes and
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really true. That's really true. Yes, I do notice that. It's interesting because you do actually get angry, which I think is good. I have my, a fight, flight, or freeze. I freeze. That I've noticed that that is my reaction to stress and to danger. I freeze, so I never say anything. I just
yeah.
internalize it and I go away and I'm shaking with anger, but I can't tell the other person that, I'm angry with them. So I then just have to go away and deal with it by myself and hope that by the time I come back to them, and sometimes, I think
And how do you do that? How
I
do you
don't,
deal with it yourself?
I often just have to sleep on it, and that does a lot. But I have to, as you say, I have to unpick where it comes from and why I'm so angry. And sometimes I do that thing of writing emails that I don't send,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
or moaning to other people about it. I can do that quite well, and
Hmm.
and just sort of letting it go.
Yeah,
And then sometimes I am able to say, quite a lot later, look, I was really upset when you did that,
yeah.
and it's passed. But I definitely have a freeze response, that I
Yeah.
noticed first when James was very small. He was one and a bit, and we were in Australia, and he fell into a lake, and I. I just couldn't move. Like all I could do was shout, and I had to make Rob go and jump in and pick him out. I
Hmm.
could not move, and I thought,
Yeah.
what is the matter with me? But I realized that
Yeah,
that's
it's
my
just a
stress.
circuit that
Yeah,
it's yeah, so horrible that you can't
yeah.
move. Yes. But I've needed to learn to show my anger in a way because I would and when I hear you, I go like, oh, this is the British stiff upper lip.
Yes, yes,
I
there's
mean,
probably
part
that
of it I
too.
think is cultural,
Yeah.
and part
Yes,
of
I'm
it
sure you're
is
right.
taught the language of emotion at all. And we did not learn in while we grew up. It's what various emotions were and how they moved through your body. And,
Mm,
when we got angry when we were young, we were sent to our room and then nobody told us what to do in our room. And we
no.
just needed to kind of cool off and then
Yeah.
we could come back. So there was no instruction whatever and
No.
how to deal with this huge life force. So what
Mm,
I did, I suppressed it, and that
yeah.
made me depressed because I
Yeah.
suppressed my life force.
Yeah.
And so years and years of sitting in a black hole of depression for months on end, and years of looking for what is this? How can I not need to go there?
Yeah.
Has also freed me up to have that anger there and yeah, and then
Interesting.
be able to examine it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, oh, when I had my private practice, beginning of this century, I worked a lot with people on anger because anger is life force. It is life force. It's also why we want to make things better, why we, you know, yeah, continue to get up in the morning and do everything we do. And that's not aggressive, but it is, life force wanting
Yeah.
to dominate.
Yeah.
And we're
Yes.
all triggered in these childhood memories, these childhood patterns, and
Yeah.
that's a benefit of personal development.
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
you don't think because here the first phase, all others are wrong and they wrong me. and you can sit there and live your life like that. But
Yes. I think
so
that's a
much
bit eldest
lovelier.
daughtery as well. I have to be
Huh?
right because I am the eldest, so I must be
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I cannot be challenged. You cannot be wrong, little brother. You cannot be right. You
You
can't.
cannot be right because I'm right. Yeah. 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 So it is beautiful to let go of these things because that is, as you've said at the beginning of this call, that's actually very liberating
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's all just mindsets. It's all survival techniques also.
Yes.
A child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, goodness me, we've got into the depths again, and it feels like we should be carrying on, but we won't be. So we need to say goodbye to everybody.
We
And
need to say goodbye to everybody. We don't say goodbye to each other. We
no,
say
no, no,
goodbye to this
definitely not.
weekly hour that we've had in our diaries for a year. And we say goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in or watching or binging.
Indeed, yes, it's been a pleasure talking to those of you who have responded and talked to us and commented and liked. It's been lovely, and well, it will still be out there. Our discussions will be there forever. Well, I don't know,
Forever
forever,
and ever. And may you
but there.
turn 70. May
Yes,
you be granted to live uh, the glory years. And if you're already in your glory years, may you be inspired to be all that you are as an elder. And yeah, much love to you.
exactly. Yes, lots of love, thanks, and well,
And
it's
happy
goodbye.
birthday tomorrow, Lucy.
Thank you,
Happy
thank
birthday
you,
tomorrow.
Lisette.
That's how we begin, and that's how we end this year of being 70.
It is.
Good.
Okay. So now I just have to stop
There
recording.
we go.
I've lost the stop recording bit. So we're still
Yeah.
recording.
So this is like how you
Oh, there we are,
don't do
recording.
endings.
Okay. I am going to stop recording now. So goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.